Hello everybody. Today we are doing two questions from CSIR Net June 2017. Both the questions are from part B. So only one of the four options will be correct and each question is of 3 marks. The first question is, let A is equals to set of all n belongs to n such that n is equal to 1 or the only prime factors of n are 2 or 3. So a set A is defined, which is basically a subset of natural numbers, and it contains all those natural numbers where either that natural number is 1 or the only prime factors which that natural number can have are 2 or 3. For example, 6 belongs to A, 10 does not belongs to A. So if you consider 6 and when you will do the prime factorization of 6, 6 is equals to 2 into 3. And clearly the only prime factors which 6 have is 2 and 3. If you will consider 10, then 10 is 2 into 5, and here 5 is also a prime factor of 10. But we have defined A as the set which contain only those natural numbers whose prime factors can be only 2 or 3 or their powers or 1. So this number 10 cannot belong to set A. Then let S is equals to sigma n belongs to A 1 by n. Then they have defined a series S using the set A, and we have to find which of the options is correct. So let us see how we can approach this problem. So this is the question in front of us, and A is set of all n belongs to n such that n is either equal to 1 or the only prime factors of n are 2 or 3. So n can be written as some 2 raised to I into 3 raised to j, because this is what the prime factorization of any element of A can be, where I and j are basically elements from n union set 0, that is all the non-negative integers. Integers from 0, 1, 2 to infinity. So this is how we can simplify A. And therefore, if you will put I and j equals to 0, you will get n is equals to 2 raised to 0 into 3 raised to 0, which is equal to 1. So in this prime factorization, when we will prime factorize n like this, n is equals to 1 is already included in it, and therefore there is no need to write it separately. So A is equals to set of all 2 raised to I into 3 raised to j such that I and j belongs to n union singleton 0. So this is A. Now S is equal to sigma n belongs to A 1 by n. So this is sigma over I and j 1 by 2 raised to I into 3 raised to j, and I and j belongs to n union singleton 0. So it is sigma I is equals to 0 to infinity, sigma j is equals to 0 to infinity 1 by 2 raised to I into 3 raised to j, and then it can be simplified as sigma I is equals to 0 to infinity. If we will consider the series sigma j is equals to 0 to infinity 1 by 2 raised to I into 3 raised to j, then you can see that 1 by 2 raised to I is a constant, and therefore we can bring it out. So 1 by 2 raised to I into sigma j is equals to 0 to infinity 1 by 3 raised to j. So now the sum of this series is sigma I is equals to 0 to infinity 1 by 2 raised to I into the sum of this series. This series is basically a series 1 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 square plus so on. It is a geometric series with first term 1 and common ratio 1 by 3. So the sum of this series is 1 by 1 minus 1 by 3. That is 1 by 2 by 3, which is 3 by 2. Alright. So S will be equal to sigma I is equals to 0 to infinity 1 by 2 raised to I into 3 by 2. So this is sigma I is equals to 0 to infinity. 3 by 2 is common, therefore we can take it out, 1 by 2 raised to I. And this is further equal to 3 by 2 into the sum of this series. And this series is 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square and so on. Again, it is a geometric series whose first term is 1, but the common ratio is 1 by 2. So the sum will be 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2, which is equals to 1 by 2 and hence equals to 2. So instead of sigma I is equals to 0 to infinity 1 by 2 raised to I, we can write 2, and therefore S is equal to 3. Alright, so S is equal to 3. We have obtained. Now if we look at the options, the first option was A is a finite set. So clearly it is not true because A is an infinite set. A contain all the elements of the form 2 raised to I into 3 raised to j, where I and j belongs to n union set 0. Therefore, A is an infinite set. As we will change the values of I and j, we will get different elements of A, and they are countably countably infinite elements in set A. So A is an infinite set, countably infinite set. Alright. Second option is S is a divergent series. So we have found the sum of the series equals to 3. S is equals to 3. Therefore, the series is convergent, not divergent. S is equals to 3. Option number 3 is the correct answer, and option number 4, which is saying S is equals to 6, is therefore wrong. So the correct answer is S is equals to 3. Now let us look at the next question. The next question is, let f from R to R be defined by f of x is equals to sin x by x if x is not equal to 0, is equal to 1 if x is equal to 0. So f is a function from set of all real numbers to itself. It is defined by f of x is equal to sin x by x at all the places where x is not equal to 0. And if x is equals to 0, the value of the function is equal to 1. So this is the function we have. Then we have to analyze this function and have to find out whether f is not continuous, f is continuous but not differentiable, f is differentiable, or f is not bounded. So we have to find which of them is correct. So if we consider the first part, that is saying f is not continuous. So if x is not equal to 0, f of x is equal to sin x by x. So it is a rational function where numerator is sin x and denominator is x. Sin x is a continuous function. Cos x is also a continuous function. Sin x and x both are continuous functions on R. And sin x by x will be continuous at all those points where the denominator is not equal to 0. So the denominator is equal to 0 only at x is equals to 0. Therefore, the function f of x is equals to sin x by x is continuous on R minus set 0. So f of x, if we consider f of x, it is continuous on R minus 0. Now we have to analyze whether f is continuous at x is equals to 0 also. So at x is equals to 0, we have to now find out whether the function is continuous. So at x is equals to 0, one thing which we know is f of x is equal to 1. Therefore, we can write f of 0 is equal to 1. Now, if f is a function from say set A to set B, we say that f is continuous at x is equals to a, where a is an element of the domain, our capital A, if limit x tends to a, f of x is equal to f of a. If this condition is satisfied, we say that function is continuous at x is equals to a. Otherwise, the function is called not continuous at x is equals to a. So here, at x is equals to 0, limit x tends to 0, f of x is equal to limit x tends to 0, sin x by x. So we have to find what is limit x tends to 0 sin x by x, whether it is equal to f of 0 or not. So if you will put 0 instead of x, it will be in sin 0 by 0, that is 0 by 0 form, and hence we have to apply L'Hopital rule, and by L'Hopital rule it is equal to limit x tends to 0, differentiation of sin x is cos x and x is 1. So limit x tends to 0 cos x, on putting x is equals to 0, it is cos 0, which is equal to 1. And we already know that f of 0 is equal to 1. So therefore limit x tends to 0, f of x is equal to f of 0, and therefore function is continuous at x is equals to 0 also. So f is continuous at 0 as well as on r minus at 0. So it is continuous on the whole real line, and therefore option 1 is not possible. Option 2 is f is continuous but not differentiable. So option 2 is f is continuous but not differentiable. So we know that f is continuous on R. Now we have to find whether f is differentiable or not. This is a task now. So f of x is equal to, let me write sin x by x if x is not equal to 0 and is equals to 1 if x is equal to 0. This is how f of x is defined. Now if x is not equal to 0, f dash of x is equal to d by dx of sin x by x. On applying quotient rule, it is equals to cos x into x minus 1 into sin x divided by x square, which is equal to x cos x minus sin x by x square. So clearly the function is differentiable at all the points where x is not equal to 0. If x is equals to 0, we have to analyze whether the function is differentiable or not. So for that, if f is a function from set A to B, then we say that f is differentiable. F is differentiable at x is equals to a, which is an element of the domain A, if limit h tends to 0, f of a plus h minus f of a by h exists. If the limit exists, we say that the function is differentiable at x is equals to a. Otherwise, the function is not differentiable at x is equals to a. So here we have to analyze whether the function is differentiable at x is equals to 0 or not. So limit h tends to 0, we have to evaluate limit h tends to 0, f of a is 0, so 0 plus h minus f of 0 by h, whether it exists or not. So this is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of 0 plus h is f of h minus f of 0. F of 0 is equal to 1, we already know, by h, and this is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of h is sin h by h minus 1 by h, and this is equal to limit h tends to 0 sin h minus h by h square. Now on putting h is equals to 0, the function will be in 0 by 0 form, and therefore we have to apply L'Hopital rule again. So this is cos h minus 1 by 2h. Again on substituting 0, it is in 0 by 0 form. So we will apply L'Hopital rule again, and this is limit h tends to 0. Differentiation of cos h is minus sin h and divided by 2. So now on substituting 0, it will be minus 0 by 2, which is equal to 0. So we can see that limit h tends to 0, f of 0 plus h minus f of 0 by h is equal to 0, and therefore limit is existing, it exists, and therefore the function is differentiable at x is equals to 0. We already know it is differentiable everywhere except x is equals to 0. So the function f is differentiable on R now. So this option 2 is also incorrect. So option 2 is also wrong. Option 3 was f is differentiable, so that is correct. Now we will see whether why option 4 is not correct. Whether we know, the answer will be no, it is bounded. So we will see why it is bounded. So option 4 is f is not bounded, just for the sake of understanding. Alright, so for this f is not bounded. The function is, again let me write it, sin x by x if x is not equal to 0 and is equals to 1 if x is equal to 0. This is the function available. So if you consider the graph of sin x, it is like this, right? This is the graph of sin x, and this point is basically x is equals to y is equals to 1, and this is the point y is equals to minus 1. Alright, now these points are pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, then 5 pi by 2, 3 pi, and so on. Alright, and similarly on the left. So this is the graph of sin x. Now we will try to plot the graph of sin x by x here. Sin x by x if x is not equal to 0 and 1 if x is equal to 0. We will be plotting the graph of f here. So if x is equal to 0, it is given that f of 0 is equal to 1. So this is the value f is taking when x is equal to 0. Now at all the other points we have to find what values the function will be taking. So again let me put pi by 2 here, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, 5 pi by 2, 3 pi points here. So I have plotted these points. We know that the function will be continuous. So let us see how the function will be behaving. So if we want to find the points where f of x is equal to 0, so clearly f of x is not equal to 0 at x is equals to 0, right? When x is equals to 0, the value of f of x is 1. So we have to evaluate the points where sin x by x is equal to 0 to find the points where f of x is vanishing. So sin x by x is equals to 0 gives us x is equals to 0 and sin x is equals to 0, and sin x is 0 at all the multiples of pi where n belongs to z. We will be not including 0 in this set of all integers, because if we will put n is equals to 0, x will be equal to 0, and it is already given that at x is equals to 0, f of x is equal to 1. So at all the n pi's where n belongs to z minus 0, the function is equal to 0. F of x is equal to 0. So at the points where I am putting dots now, the function is equal to 0. Now let us see what is the value the function is taking when x is equal to pi by 2. So when x is equal to pi by 2, f of x is sin x by x. So sin pi by 2 by pi by 2 is equal to 1 by pi by 2, that is 2 by pi. So f of x is equals to 2 by pi. And the value of 2 by pi is approximately equal to 0.6. So if this is 0.5, this is where approximately 2 by pi will lie, and this is the value sin x by x will be taking when x will be equal to pi by 2. So the graph is moving like this. At x is equals to 3 pi by 2, the function is taking the value sin 3 pi by 2 by 3 pi by 2, which is equals to minus 2 by 3 pi. Alright, so this is the value the function is taking at x is equals to minus 2 by 3 pi, and when we will try to plot it, if this is minus 1, this is minus 0.5, somewhere here the point minus 3 pi by 2 will lie, and therefore the function will be behaving like this. Now at x is equals to 5 pi by 2, the function f of x will be taking the value 2 by 5 pi, which is even less than 2 by 3 pi. Alright, so the value of, say, the function at 5 pi by 2 is this, then this will be the point, and then 0, and then now you can guess that this is how the function will be behaving. So as we will start moving towards infinity from x is equals to 0, you can see that the function is having this wavy nature, and the maximum of this function is at 1. Similarly, when you will move towards the left from x is equals to 0, the behavior of the function will be similar like this. Alright, so now it is the time to answer whether how the function is not bounded. So this is the graph of f of x, our function, the function which is given to us, and as you can see, this line is y is equals to 1. You can similarly draw a line here, y is equals to minus 1. So the graph of f, the function f, is lying completely between the lines y is equals to 1 and y is equals to minus 1. Alright, the graph of f is lying completely between y is equals to 1 and y is equals to minus 1. Therefore, the function f is bounded. The function is bounded because by the definition, if f is a function from a to b, we say that f is bounded on a if there exists a real number m such that mod f of x is less than or equal to m for all x belongs to a. So here that m is equal to 1 and the given function is completely lying between the lines y is equals to 1 and y is equals to minus 1. Therefore, the function is not bounded. This option is also correct. Therefore, the correct option is option 3. The function is differentiable. So this is how we can do this kind of problem. Thank you.